Live from the Hive in Atlanta, Georgia, where the Swarm have started the season 1-0 for the first time since season 20. They're coming off of a dominating 31-7 win over Albuquerque last week as they take on the Minnesota Legend, who dropped a Convention Classic heartbreaker in overtime to rival Indianapolis. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Cirillo. Happy to have your company. Happy to have the company of Mark Lopez as well. We've got Top Kiefer and Gerald Smith on stats and Kevin Irvine producing in the SFL studio. Mark, kickoff a little bit delayed, but we are up and running and ready to roll.
We are ready to roll, and you know what, Michael? These two teams are ready to roll as well. Minnesota, you're talking about the heartbreaker last week. They're going to shrug off that loss and come into Atlanta with a fresh new headspace, essentially, because I tell you what, that could have been a very winnable team against Indy. On the other hand, I think people are looking at Atlanta and looking at the win and thinking it's against an expansion team. Can they replicate it here tonight?
And for Atlanta, Bryant Dynasty had a perfect QBR last week as the Swarm will start with the ball. Nicky Melillo kicking off to Queg Mam, and excuse me, that's Falco. Sees Falco bring it up to the 25. Here are the Atlanta Swarm offensive starters. Bryant Dynasty at quarterback, the Hall of Famer BDG Hollywood at running back, Mitchell O'Brien a fullback, Fox Highwind, Siege Falco, and another Hall of Fame player, Blue Chisholm at wide receiver. Why not Arielette at tight end, Carter Hollywood, Sam Falco, and Astro Smith on the offensive line. They wear the green helmets, black with light blue, and they will start by pitching it out to BDG. He'll lose a yard as a nice tackle on the play by Adrian Blaine.
And that's definitely modus operandi number one for Minnesota is watch out for those BDG pitches. Last week had 19 carries and 80 yards. That's a 4.2 average. That's pretty good, Michael.
Hollywood did not pick up a touchdown last week. He'll get the carry again. Correction, this is the backup running back, Jonathan Reese, who featured maybe more than the coaching staff for Atlanta would have liked last week, even in the win.
He did get 11 carries last week for about 30 yards.
3rd and 11, Dynasty to the air for the first time. He'll go down the numbers, and it's almost picked off by Derek Meerkat. Strong safety came and batted that one down. The Legend will force a 3 and out.
Did not record a pass deflection or interception last week. Only had 7 tackles and 1 TFL to his name. It looks like he's going to be more aggressive against the passing game tonight.
Legend in the green helmets, the darker green helmets, the dark green shoulders fading to white. On the road here in Atlanta. A nice kickoff and punt return here. Big stiff arm up near midfield. Still going is EJ Minson. How about that? Right on the midfield strike for the Legend.
Man, what a return by Minson here. That's about a 15-yard return there. Sets them up at the midfield essentially here, and that's a good starting field position for this dynamic offense of Minnesota.
Minson on punt returns, 4 for 28 yards. He's almost got half of that on one return here in this game. From right on the midfield stripe, here come the Legend quarterback, Johnny Reno under center. He'll face a 5-man rush. Now extra pressure comes, and he's forced to just dump that ball away incomplete. Excellent delayed blitz there by the Atlanta defense.
Excellent delayed blitz, as you pointed out, but also Johnny Reno able to recognize it and just throwing it away. The worst thing you'd want from that situation is a sack or a bobbled throw to an interception. So good on the throwaway there.
Isaac Knox and Colin Hart, the 2 running backs behind Reno. Now Hart goes out in the formation. Reno takes off, and he is hammered after a 4-yard pickup by Jeff Spicoli. They'll bring up 3rd and 6.
I don't blame him for deciding to rush there, as the 4-man rush all spread out. It was just wide open down the middle, but linebackers playing the flats and caught him for a 4-yard tackle.
Reno like likely to go to the air again. It's another blitz. Reno flush deep over the middle and wide open for the touchdown is T. Queen. Her first catch of the season goes for 6.
Absolutely punishing the cover 0. It looks like, in fact, the defenders getting tangled up on top of each other, and the Queen just had the entire highway in front of her to run into the end zone. That was quick, that was fast, and that was decisive. Good job on Minnesota's offense to punch it in.
It's so hard to keep T. Queen down. Last season, 641 yards. And as I said, that was her first catch of the season and a 49-yard touchdown.
Yeah, good stuff from T. Queen, who has had 0 catches all of last week. All of last week was starring mainly Deezer Powell, and the Queen now featuring in this offensive drive.
And for the first time this season, Mark, Atlanta behind in a game. It's still very early. As that ball is returned up to the 30-yard line by Muhammad. But it's going to be interesting to see how Atlanta copes with being behind after an easy win last week against the Adams.
And that is one of the questions they had coming into this week. Is the Adams, being the expansion team, more of a warm-up game for Atlanta, or is it a replicable success that they can't put out here against Minnesota?
Saw Atlanta try to establish the run on their first drive. They'll do so again here. Hollywood picks up 7, and that's more like the Hall of Fame caliber running back of BDG Hollywood.
The kind of play that we expect from him, the quick run down the middle, finding open space, picking up 7 yards and setting up 2nd and short.
They're likely to continue their offensive slugfest on the ground as Atlanta. They'll switch the tight end from left to right. Long hold before the snap. Pitch to Siege Falco,
Beautiful.
The wide receiver. We saw this play work beautifully last week, and it catches the defense off guard again.
Grand total of 8 carries last week from Siege Falco. He was very pivotal in that win, to say the least. You know, adding to that run game. Imagine 8 for 53 yards all of last week, and showing why that is a very effective play for this team.
First move of the chains for Atlanta gets them into plus territory,
Wow.
and then we'll go deeper into it with a nice post complete to why not Ariel the tight end.
He gets a nice catch down the middle, establishing that those passes down the middle, and a beautiful post route here, breaking inside to make the defender miss, and it was just him and the safety above him, and he makes that catch every single day of the week.
Ariel, 1 catch last week for 6 yards, but it went for a touchdown. That's his 2nd catch of the season. Now at the 35-yard line, this drive developing quickly for the Swarm. Dynasty under center, 3-step drop over the middle, caught over the middle by Boo Chisholm at the 20. A 15-yard pickup for the Swarm.
And if there's anything to take away early on in this game, is that Atlanta is looking to aggressively attack the middle of the field with those post routes, quick slants. And so far, it's working here, Michael. The middle of the field for Minnesota, a little bit bare so far. We'll see if they tighten up in that part of the field.
Dynasty looking towards the goal line, and it's caught inside the 5 by Siege Falco.
Now this time it's Minnesota making the blitz pay, as Falco with that speed just finds open space quick. Another post route, really attacking that middle of the field, and going up against Derek Meerkat, who is the lone defender there. They really couldn't challenge the pass. Can only work the man and brings him down for a tackle, but it's 1st and goal.
Under 6 minutes to go, first quarter. Dynasty fade route, deflected and incomplete. Minnesota finally breaks up a pass. Adrian Blaine first to that one.
Adrian Blaine, Stephen Black, also within the vicinity. Just a bunch of white uniforms thrown to a little bit of a questionable decision, perhaps. There was a swing route open at the bottom screen earlier, but they're going to go ahead in a similar formation here.
2nd and goal. Let's see if they use the run game here. They'll flex the tight end over. That's Randy McMichael. Atlanta looking to tie this one up after going down early. They'll hand it off to Hollywood. He powers forward, but he's stopped at the 1. It'll bring up 3rd and goal.
That is an incredible tackle, as BDG was really looking for that end zone. Tunnel vision, but unable to shake off the final tackle. 3rd and goal at the 1-yard line. Incentive time for a defensive play here.
Can Atlanta punch it in, or will Minnesota get a goal line stop? And a goal line stop it is. They tried the stretch play to Falco. David Leathers says absolutely not. 4th and goal.
That ends an incredible drive. Imagine it starts in the midfield, goes down 49 yards, and it ends in the field goal. What a defensive play by Minnesota at the end here.
And a great read, right, by the defensive coordinator as well, knowing that outside run with Falco was a dangerous weapon and game planning to stop it in that short yardage situation.
Absolutely. Sending someone in the backfield early meant that there would be an immediate physical hit on BDG. That was just enough to slow him down and force a tackle.
So Raven, the coach of this team, also co-owner with BJ Loveless. And so Minnesota will get the ball back. They will start at the 20-yard line. The first drive for Minnesota started slow and ended with a bang with that 46-yard touchdown pass to T. DeQueen. But as Minnesota settles into their offense, Mark, what do you want to see from them on a consistent basis?
Well, so far, their passing game has been on point, similar to last week. We'll see if they can establish a run game as well to solidify this offense.
They will go to the run. Here's the SFL veteran Colin Hart picking up 2 yards up the middle. Rest of Minnesota's offense, Johnny Reno at quarterback, Isaac Knox, Colin Hart at running back, Robert Henson at fullback, Craig Mann, Deezer Powell, T. DeQuinn, Jay Taylor, and E.J. Minson, the wide receivers, Caesar Ackerman and Jason France, the tight ends, Brookie Burr, Axel Raven, Dusty Wilson, Griffin King, and Ruthie Raven on the offensive line. Another short gain brings up 3rd and 4. That's the other running back, Isaac Knox.
Yeah, Knox is a great pickup for this team. Great addition to this Minnesota roster. We talk about the 2-back system and how teams have been utilizing 2-backs in rotation. It's been working well for many teams across the league. We'll see if Minnesota can take advantage of that kind of a system here.
And we saw that was a potential weakness of the Atlanta squad coming in. They'll run for it on 3rd and 4 and pick it up. Colin Hart on the draw goes right through the defense and is not touched until the 2nd level. 1st down for Minnesota. Here is that Atlanta defense. Defensive line, Wolf Highwind, Aiden Teixeira, and Alex Dominguez, big sexy, changing teams for the first time in his career, coming over from the Florida Storm, the former defensive player of the season and 4-time All-Star. 3-yard run for Knox. Rest of the defense, linebackers Bernard Smith, Jeff Spicoli, and another Hall of Famer, Aquantis Shine. 15 seasons with the Atlanta Swarm. Nathan Barnett and Jay Miraculous, the corners. Moose Papineau, Grant Hardaway, and Chris Henry are the safeties. 2nd and 7. Full house in the backfield. Oh, I almost said it didn't matter, but somehow Colin Hart sneaks through there for a couple yards.
He makes something out of nothing. Key point for big sexy Alex Dominguez is that he's a week 2 pickup by Atlanta, so a little bit of a wrinkle. Maybe Minnesota game planned without him in mind, but nonetheless, Alex Dominguez is right there in the defensive line. Watch out for that guy.
3rd and 3, they go full house backfield again. Knox trying to stretch it to the left and fighting through some arm tackles will move the chains. So we've seen Minnesota go to the air on drive 1, and they've almost exclusively kept it on the ground here in drive 2.
I don't think it's almost exclusively. I think it is exclusively, but they might air it out here in this formation unless they fool us and the defense.
Run it out wide, 3 by 1. They do go with the run. Hart with the spin. He'll only pick up 3. And I don't hate the idea, Mark, of spreading the defense out and then trying to run.
Right, absolutely. It's also a good read by Atlanta as they sent more DBs immediately reading the run. It's a 3-year gain in those formations. Some lead blocking from the wide receivers usually ends up in more yards.
This time they'll throw out of the heavy set. It's just one-on-one over the middle, and the throw is low. And E.J. Minson can't corral it. Brings up 3rd and 7. Not the first pass of the drive that Minnesota was wanting.
No, but I don't think they're concerned. They had a pretty good passing performance all of last week. Johnny Reno, although didn't have as perfect of a game as Dynasty, still threw for a decent completion rate against Indy.
Reno is well coming off a 3,000-yard season, and he'll pick up more into a crowded middle of the field, and Jay Taylor says, I gotcha, with a big catch.
Bailing him out. Brady Jay Taylor, 3 receptions last week for 52 yards, and this week as well, showing that he is one of the weapons for Johnny Reno. And another first down. They keep the chains moving. I think that's the thing. Your question is, what do I want to see? I think it's consistency, converting on 3rd downs with high leverage situations.
Reno last season 2nd in the league in passing yards, 3,130 as that run play goes for no gain. Nice tackle by Bernard Smith. Also 2nd in overall quarterback rating at 89.1. So a very efficient passer, Johnny Reno, but he's given up a lot of the offensive load to his 2 very talented running backs here early on.
Shotgun formation.
It's a draw. Knox spins out of 1 tackle, but cannot get away from the attentions of the 2nd. Kelvin Pritchett on the stop for Atlanta brings up another 3rd medium.
One thing that's Minnesota's doing good here is with a mix of run and pass, they're keeping sacks to a minimum. That's what plagued them last season and even last week. Last week he had 3.
3rd and 6. Jay Taylor crossed the formation, making it 3 to the left. Taylor with the big catch on the last 3rd down on this drive. 4-man rush. Time in the pocket for Reno. Now he's flushed to his left. He'll look deep down the middle. Oh, it's caught! E.J. Minson from his knees, setting up the legend in 1st and goal. How did he make that grab?
Well, he made it because he was working his plyometrics here, bending down and stretching his back to make an incredible catch by his shoelaces, essentially. The only spot that he's open, and he finds himself underneath the safety, just above the corner, or I guess linebacker, and what a throw, too, by Reno.
This will be the last play of the first quarter. It goes nowhere for Colin Hart, but I want to talk more about that E.J. Minson catch. That's got to be your nice hands catch of the game. Brought to you by Retroid. Put a Retroid handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it, SFL 4K23. And as we begin quarter number 2, not Ramos, I'm getting all confused. It's 1st and goal, 2nd and goal from the 11 for Minnesota. We're knocking on the door, already leading 7-3. Handoff, Hart. 2 straight runs for no gain for Minnesota, and it's 3rd and goal from the 11.
And good stuff by Bernard Smith getting involved there in that tackle. A 0-yard gain, 0 yards allowed. Now it's the quad formation here, and they line up in their dime.
10-4, Reno pressured, throws for the corner, tipped and picked at the goal line. Bringing out is Nathan Barnett, and he's in the clear. Just the quarterback to beat, and he's tackled from behind by Jay Taylor. What a flip of the script by the Swarm as they avoid giving up points.
Nathan Barnett, give this guy some reps in the offense as he has the hands to make the interception, bobbles it, secures it, breaks the tackle here. Goodbye. Another one? Nope. And he's just gonna run all the way to their 40-yard line. Nathan Barnett, 2 interceptions all of last season, and he already has 1 in week 2.
Oh, I gotta call out. I think Ike Reese missed that crucial block that would have sent Barnett down the field, possibly for a pick six. Hollywood going nowhere. Minnesota's defense trying to pick up their offense.
Yeah, the DBs of both teams are really rushing this running game really well. That was Adrian Blaine. She finds a nice tackle, but what's more impressive is her quick reaction to that run play coming all the way from the deep safety position.
Another handoff, this time to Reese. Doesn't go anywhere. And it's third down and long. And outside that long drive for Atlanta where they ended up getting 3 points, the Minnesota defense has been very stout here in the first half.
They have been, between their linebackers, Matthew Alvarado and Jason Clay, really keeping that middle of the field protected against the run play.
3rd and 9. Dynasty looking, sidearms it deep, and it's caught by Chisholm. Oh, almost broke out of a tackle and escaped down the sideline, but it'll put him at the 25.
Minnesota trying to bend but not break, but it's tough to do. So wow, no coverage on that run play to beat Boo Chisholm, and he just ran a beeline down the side of the field in the fade route, and it was just almost a goodbye, nights out for him.
I'm not sure what happened there, but Derek Meerkat was 2-on-1. He had to choose to cover one receiver or the other, and I think you can't leave open the full-time all-star wide receiver.
Exactly. Hall of Famer too.
Can't forget that. Chisholm setting up Atlanta at the 25. It'll be 2nd down and 9 after a failed run attempt. Offset eye movement, pre-snap Fox Highwind, the 8-year SFL career, first season with Atlanta. He'll look to throw, does Dynasty, and toss it into the ground over the middle, 3rd and 9. There's been a lot of 3rd and longs for Atlanta early on in this one.
And for the most part, at least in this drive, they've been converting on those 3rd and longs in a very spectacular fashion.
Overall, Atlanta 1 of 3 on 3rd downs. The only conversion, that long pass to Boo Chisholm. Dynasty 4-man rush, flush left, man in his face, throws deep to the end zone in double coverage, and it's knocked away by Adrian Blaine.
Good defense by Adrian Blaine. She blanketed that receiver from the safety position and finds a deflection. Actually playing the ball and looking for an interception, but instead it becomes a deflection, forcing a field goal here. So despite forcing a turnover, Minnesota holds strong and only allow 3, potentially.
This is a 42-yard attempt, not a gimme for Sammy Steele. The 9-season veteran puts it right down Main Street. And a 1-point lead for Minnesota early on here in quarter number 2. Low scoring so far, Mark, but not for the lack of action.
No, plenty of action, plenty of back and forth. A lot of yards by both teams. And with Sammy Steele's field goal, he is still on track for staying at 100% and finishing the season with a nice, tasty incentive.
Total yards so far, Atlanta 105, Minnesota 118. Both teams utilizing primarily the pass for big chunks of yards. 86 for Minnesota, 82 for Atlanta. 23 on the ground for the Swarm, 32 on the ground for the Legend, as they will set up shop at the 20-yard line. 1 point lead, 7:20 to go. Second quarter, Michael Trillo alongside Mark Lopez here from the Hive in Atlanta as we close out your Sunday slate here on SFL YouTube. Colin Hart, nice lane up the middle. He'll get 5. And Colin Hart's story is one that really is inspiring, right? Started his career with Sioux Falls, played there for a couple of seasons, but then has bounced around to a couple of different teams and really found a home here in Minnesota. 5 seasons with the Legend.
5 very productive seasons from him as well.
That time the handoff goes to Knox. He gets caught up behind the line and dropped for no gain. Maybe give him one. A generous spot there for the officials. 3rd down and 4. So do you stick on the ground or try and get something through the air, 3rd and medium here?
Well, at the very least, both options are open. This 3rd and medium. They open up with split twins. They have a tight end on the field that could muddle up the defense with the passing game. It's a rollout, though.
Rollout for Reno, and a great throw as well. Easy pitch and catch over the middle. And a legend move to change. Jason France makes the grab.
His first catch of the day. Had a couple of catches in their overtime loss to Indy, but here starts off with a nice catch here to convert the 1st down. They had a previous drive that was going very well for them, but the turnover earlier killed that drive. They're looking to score here.
Brent last week only 2 catches for 11 yards. Reno, whoa, is that an inside pitch? I'm not sure what that was. It doesn't work out either way, and it's 2nd and 10.
I am not sure what that is. They're not saying it's a fumble, so definitely a pitch somewhere, but to no one.
Gotta clean that one up. 2nd down and 10. Reno in the I formation. He'll go into the flat. Colin Hart, room to run. Makes a move to the outside. Dragged down by Jay Miraculous, but not before a gain of 9.
Yeah, incredible effort by Hart on the run after the catch, forcing a defender and running him down for extra yards after the hit, and he gives his team 3rd and short now.
I love that triple backfield formation, full house. Lots of black and green in the box. But Knox says, I don't care, and picks up a 1st down to midfield.
Yeah, great running, and you mentioned it, that full house backfield. Bernard Smith was already there at the backfield to make the first point of contact, but not enough as they force that 1-yard 3rd down conversion.
Into plus territory, just across that midfield stripe at the 49. I formation again, to right, single left. Reno looking in the pocket, throws down the right side, numbers, and it's in and out of the hands of T. DeQueen. It was a great throw, just DeQueen couldn't hang on to it.
And it would have been an amazing catch if she did hang on to it. Plenty of room for her to run if she stayed upright, as the defender jumped for the ball and is taken out of the picture, but an incompletion instead becomes a 2nd and 10 for Reno and company.
Johnny slings it down the middle to DeQueen, and she gets inside the 30. T. DeQueen has come to play on Sunday night.
2nd catch in 4 targets. She's now up to 68 yards. That is an incredible night already for her, and we have a long game still to go.
129 for Reno. Last week, 275. Just 70% completion as he was stifled a little bit. Reno rolling out, completing again to Jay Taylor. That rollout across the middle route has been there a couple of times.
And it makes sense because Atlanta is bringing the blitz from the other side. So Reno rolls out away from the blitzer. Interesting note there, as I think it's kind of a zone blitz where they drop one of the linemen in coverage, and Reno makes them pay there.
Bunch set left. They'll pitch it strong side, and Colin Hart gets run down from behind. Bernard Smith has been absolutely everywhere. That's his 5th tackle.
Yeah, and actually good defensive play calling, blitzing on the run play as they knew a pitch was coming, and they knew their blitz was going to be faster than the pitch.
Loss of 1, blitz again, and it's tipped by Miraculous and incomplete.
Man, so many near misses that might have been turnover the other way. Minnesota is really playing with fire here.
Josh Williams, the defensive coordinator, dialing up the heat. 2 straight blitzes, now on 3rd and 11. Only one linebacker in the middle. Everybody else split out wide, a 4-man set. Reno flushed only against 4, throws to the end zone, and it's intercepted. The second interception in the end zone by Atlanta. This one grabbed by Chris Henry.
Second interception, but also the second interception in the red zone. Woe be the Minnesota coaching staff as they're scratching their head on what did we do wrong? Why can't we seem to score, and why are we turning over in the red zone? That's one of the worst ways and places to throw a turnover.
Chris Henry, 1 touchdown, or 1 pick 6 last year, but a second best 7 interceptions. That's second place in the league last season. Got his first season 20 Dynasty on the rollout, and a nice catch by Fox Highwind, his first of the game. Atlanta looks like they saw Minnesota using the rollout to their advantage and copied it.
And it's also a nice route, cut to the outside. Cornerback actually caught unawares, thought that the route kept breaking upwards, but because of that, the completion was made and Atlanta is rolling.
3 minutes to go, first half, a low-scoring game, completely opposite to the kind of game both of these teams played in week 1. Handoff on the left side. Reese gets a couple. Of course, Atlanta put up 31 points against Albuquerque, and even in a loss, 20 points scored by Minnesota. But both defenses have come to play with big red zone stands here in this game so far. Hollywood, nowhere to go. He has gotten no love from this Minnesota defense so far. 12 yards on 6 carries for BDG.
And whether it's running down the gut or running to the outside, they have his number. An interesting stat up here. Look at the score, 7-6. But Minnesota out-yardaging Atlanta. It's really those turnovers that's killing this team's offense.
We've got the 2-minute warning here in the first half. The team separated by just a single point. The one long touchdown for T. DeQueen and the 2 steal field goals for Atlanta. Again, no shortage of action here with the 2 end zone interceptions by the Swarm. Big plays from the Minnesota defense. Pump fake and a sack as Brian Dynasty could not find anyone downfield. Look out, Mark Mello is coming. The season 16 defensive player of the season hits home.
And the trend of incredible defensive stands by both teams continues here. A drive killer of a sack. The protection wasn't enough. They didn't give Dynasty much time there for any of the routes downfield to develop. Couldn't find anyone that he liked to throw to, and unfortunately forcing a punt. And in 2 turnovers, Michael, Atlanta can only muster 3 points so far.
Rookie punter Ken Miller on the field for the first time today. Try and pin Minnesota back deep and keep them off the board for the last 1 minute and 20 of this first half. Minnesota has all 3 timeouts, so could look to put some sort of 2-minute drill together here late. They're going to have to do it the hard way, though, starting on their own 25.
We'll see if or how aggressive they decide to be here based on their first down performance. More often than not, we've seen teams around the league be conservative in this game field position. They will line up in spread, though, Michael. We might see something interesting here.
Could just be a run. We got the eye out there. T. DeQueen going in motion. She has the 2 big catches for Minnesota so far in this game, along with E.J. Minson, but they will just run it with Colin Hart, perhaps content to take that 1-point lead into the break.
Yep, that seems to be the case. And
remember, Minnesota does get the ball first in the second half.
They do.
Under a minute now, they'll pitch it to Isaac Knox. He's trying to hit the corner. He almost does. Picks up 9.
Yeah,
Tackled
nice.
by Qantas Shine.
Nice running by Knox here. He had 2 tight ends as a lead blocker in that Tier Titan set.